recently you were posting in Justin Moore's chat the other day, and he was talking about the kind of changes that are happening in the ad space on YouTube. I just wanted to give you a chance to talk about what things you heard from him. I remember him talking about the influence of TikTok lowering the bar for creation, a lot of themes about what we just talked about there. A renaissance of long form advertising in the next 6 to 12 months is what he talked about. And the importance of dynamic ad insertion were things that stood out to me. But I just wanted to give you a chance to reflect on Justin Moore and tell us more about what he does and what your experience was getting your question answered on his show.
So if you're not familiar, I've been a vlogger for a long time, since 2010, but started daily vlogging in 2011. And, you know, there was a lot of other vloggers that started at the time. Justin Moore and his wife, April Athena, both were family vloggers that started in that era. Fast forward, Justin Moore has built an agency. He no longer runs that agency, but it did brand deals for family content creators. So I would say probably one of the best in the game for pitching brand deals. And now he has this thing called Creator Wizard, pitching brands to get sponsorships for creators. That's his whole business. So he knows a lot. I mean, this guy is the one guy I can talk to and like we can keep up with each other. Okay. It's like two AI, chats talking to each other when it comes to brand deals. And I was on his live stream because he coaches people, of course, and he was asking questions. I said, what was the unique observations you're making about short form sponsorships versus like long form sponsorships? He said, definitely short form is just getting way competitive. He didn't mention AI, but I know it is, right? It's just like getting harder. There's just more options. Think about it. If it's easier for someone to create a short form piece of content, that means the entry to barrier is lower. So there's going to be more competitors. That was what happened. And the AI comes into the scene, right? Competing for those views, that attention. And so brand deals are changing, right? But then he said long form, more opportunities.
Despite creator sentiment, which is down, which is what you're just saying.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's just like a reframing of the mind. Even the industry is going to have to, like, it was crazy. I had a sponsor recently who does a crazy amount of short form sponsorships. I know this because I see the ads running to me. Okay. And they sponsored our long form content. And when we left off the last time we did it, right, they said, oh, you know what? It was good, but we're going to move on, blah, blah, blah. And I know they're working with other creators. They returned and want to sponsor more content.
Really? Okay? Interesting.
Because there's nobody doing long form content like us that they can work with. Okay. Now, to be fair, there are other people, but they thought we had enough quality. They're like going to do it again. So the point of me saying that is long form does stand apart from short form, obviously, right? There's a lot of opportunity there that I think a lot of creators don't realize. So even the brands and the platforms have to reframe. It's like, hey, there is this value here. It's different than short form. See, with short form, you can take somebody's sponsored spot and it becomes an ad for yourself.
Yeah.
All the content that's like featuring it, that's from short form creators featuring this product, it's all basic ads that are being run to me. Mine, you can't run as an ad because it's a 30-minute video. And the integration, by the way, how long do you think my integration was?
30 minutes.
No, it was actually more like 9 minutes of the 30-minute vlog.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Got a lot of views, by the way. Was a high-performing one. Going to the last thing that Justin Moore said was this whole, what do you call it? The sponsor spot tool that YouTube is going to let you.
Dynamic ad insertion.
Dynamic ad. Basically, they're isolating where your ad is, your sponsor spot, and they're saying in the future you can change out that spot for old videos. And he says that's like so smart because say you have a sponsor that doesn't want to just sponsor this vlog or this video. They want to sponsor your whole library. Now with dynamic ads, you can insert it into it. If you have, I don't know, you must have to pick in your video where that dynamic ad is and then across your library. So instead of them sponsoring one vlog, right? they can sponsor the
Your
last
channel,
100
basically.
vlogs and go into that dynamic ad spot with an ad that's more relevant, right, to your whole audience. Because oftentimes, if you have a loyal audience, they might not just watch one video, they might watch like 5 videos.
Especially if your content's evergreen.
So that ad will be more valuable because it's all about the follow-up, right?
Yes.
They say 7 times it takes to make a sale, right? That's like a sales concept. So in this case, they could do it across your 100 videos that have that dynamic ad spot. And guess what? Next year, you could run another ad with another brand to that same 100 videos. This is where long form content has a lot of benefits that short form can't, because the whole entire short form is an ad. You can't change it, right? You can only run another ad before you watch that short form.
And so the brand really likes that they get to cut.
But my 100 videos that dynamic ad spot lives in, those are all organic content that has its own value, that people can watch over and over and over, and it doesn't feel like an ad until that dynamic spot. So he says that's really significant. More interesting, though, than like a huge moneymaker, because it's not even really launched. So that was interesting, and I agree with him. But to me, like, what's the difference between that dynamic ad spot and just an ad that gets run?
Well, it's your control over it as a creator.
Your control. And then the real question is, do they take a cut of it? I think they will.
They probably should.
They probably, there's no way, because they're competing against their own
But I don't
ads.
know how are they going to do that, though, because they don't know any of the contracts that you're signing.
What if you have to? What if you have to just pay a fee?
I think it's going to be too big of a. I actually would bet against them taking a cut.
I'll bet you that they will take a cut.
Let's note that down. We're going to check in a year and see which one of us is right.
Okay. But again, that's funny to me though. That's all gimmicky. That's all gimmicky. Okay, because that sponsor spot is just like running an ad for me. I still think there's going to be a lot of opportunity with long form, especially if you're creative enough to be able to integrate it. So that integration was 8 minutes long. The whole 8 minutes doesn't seem like a commercial though. It's like you don't even know where the beginning and the end really is. It's part of the story, right? And you know what's funny? Justin Moore and I remember the first time somebody at a VidCon approached us that, hey, do you know that YouTube's going to make it so you can skip sponsor spots? Which was a big deal, because a lot of people just hold up a piece of paper like, hey, you guys, and today's podcast is brought to you by
YouTube Secrets.
Gold. Okay, yeah, YouTube Secrets, right? Gold finders. And you know, the price of gold is going up these days, and you need to diversify your portfolios. You can tell I've watched a lot of these gold ads. What they did was they made the ability for the viewer to skip that. You all know, you probably skip that a lot. I skip it a lot, okay? And when he told both me and Justin, this guy left the table, both me and Justin go, how can you skip like a organic sponsor spot, right? That's part of the entire creative of the video. It's impossible. You skip the whole video. See, the reason Justin and I kind of knew this from the beginning, because that's the type of creators we were. We didn't just like read a script or what. That's why when we see these podcasters, they're like great at podcasts, horrible at sponsor spots, because they just think of it as like a taking a break or whatever. For me, I always knew that was a problem, because one, people just will fast forward it, or YouTube just did it for you. They created a skip ahead button. But when we do our integrations, it's part of the creative delivery of the entire value, you know? So like, you know, a good thing I should do, I think that it's funny, I'm giving myself ideas. I should find these brands that are at Costco and get them to sponsor my Costco shopping vlogs. Right?
Totally.
I need to get on that, Carla, let's do this, okay? And then I just featured, hey, by the way, today's Costco shopping vlog is brought to you by this. I love it. I already talk about all these products. Yeah, it's just like giving them a little bit more attention, right? And like maybe I'll bring it up multiple times throughout the shopping vlog. You know, somebody else gave me the ideas like, Benji, you should have your own product at Costco. That's a whole nother discussion. But the summary of you asking about Justin Moore is this: more opportunity with long form brand deals than there are with short form brand deals. And even with this dynamic ad spot, the point is there's more opportunity there, just because it's a space that less creators are getting sponsored at, or like we thought. And short form is so competitive. Long form, especially super long form. That's like a new term, by the way. Super. We did our first hour-long vlog the other day.
Yes, we're going to talk about that.
And I'm telling you, by the way, that's where our sponsor spot was.